winners. Let the pros show you how to make money. General Manager Al DeMarco, a regular contributor on Fox Sports, MSNBC, and Comcast Sports TV, brings over 25 years of handicapping experience to the table. CEO Steve Budin, the author of Bets, Drugs, and Rock and Roll, is the man responsible for creating the online betting industry. Together, they lead PickNation.com, your number one source for winners.
Week 14 of the NFL season upon us. Can the Denver Broncos, 6-1 straight up and against the spread since Tim Tebow took over the helm, continue their winning ways today at home against struggling Chicago? Can the Dallas Cowboys bounce back after that horrific coaching move in their overtime loss at Arizona? Rebound this evening against the New York Giants, a team that has lost 4 straight since going to New England and upsetting the Patriots last month? Can the Packers, winners of 18 in a row, 13-5 ATS, narrowly coming off that escape against the Giants last week, continue their run to perfection? Those are among the questions we're going to answer today. Hi, everyone. Al DeMarco here along with Steve Budin. This is the Countdown to Kickoff program, the only nationally televised show to break down all of your NFL action from a point spread perspective. I've been a professional sports handicapper over 25 years, but I started my career as a sports reporter, so I used the knowledge I gained from being on the field, in the locker rooms, around coaches, players, etc. It all comes down to talent evaluation. That's what's made me a winner 9 of the past 10 seasons. Steve Budin, on the other hand, former bookmaker, son of a bookmaker, grew up in the bookmaking gambling industry, and really, you created what we now know as the offshore sportsbook gambling industry. For you, it's all about your sources and your contacts.
Absolutely. All about my crews, my syndicates, the very same professional gamblers that I used to run away from as a bookmaker. I've now joined forces with them against the bookmaker. So lean on me when you're not strong, because I've got the Baltimore crew, and they'll help you carry on. We saw them do it Sunday night with New Orleans. Such a big game, because so much more focus on a Sunday night game, because we know it's the bailout game. So many times our customers aren't just betting our plays, they're betting their own as well. That gets them into trouble on a Sunday, and when you can bail them out on a Sunday night like we did with a double down 50-dime play, you show me a professional gambler who hits his double down plays, I'll show you someone that makes money.
And those 50-dime releases from the Baltimore crew over the past 4 years now, 16-5. And you're so right, because, you know, the Sunday night schedule has been so much better than the Monday night games. Very few people really even wanted to play Jacksonville, San Diego last Monday. So that game, Saints and Lions, that was a key bailout game, just like probably this week with a horrific game, Seattle and St. Louis, set for Monday night. Tonight's game between Giants and the Cowboys, the NFC showdown, that's going to be the one that people are going to be looking to bail out on. Heavy action. We're going to cover that and all your games today. Coming up in about 5 minutes, we'll have handicapper Trace Adams joining us once more from Atlanta. 5-1 with his free picks the past 2 weeks here on the show. He has 3 more selections today. But Steve, let's talk about Green Bay and Oakland. The Packers escaping with the victory last week, but did not cover against the Giants, taking on an Oakland team that had won 5 straight against the spread on the road. But last week they got bushwhacked at Miami. Played horrific in that. Just a horrific performance by the Raiders in that game. Couldn't run. 31-14 was the final score, but it wasn't even as close as that final score would lead you to believe it was, and that was a blowout to begin with. This is a tough spot for Oakland on a 4th road game in 5 weeks here.
Yeah, and what happened with Green Bay is, in their last game against the Giants, it wasn't a loss for them, but the near loss, I think, kind of woke them up. I'd hate to be Oakland going into Green Bay now with a Green Bay team that is aware that they just can't show up to win. They've got to actually play good, too. Not to take anything away from the way the Giants played. They played great. Oakland obviously ran into a Miami Metro bus. They didn't see that coming. I think they're going to have a problem this week. I lay the big number once again with Green Bay.
Yeah, I think you absolutely have to lay with the Packers here as well. Back at Lambeau, I mean, they've covered 8 of their last 9 against AFC. You know, Aaron Rodgers is just having a season for the ages, but at home this year, he's completing 72% of his passes, 317 yards a game, 17 touchdowns against just 3 interceptions. So that shows you the dominance he's had at home. Meanwhile, these Raiders, they can't stop the run. They don't have necessarily that good of a pass defense either. So, again, playing the 4th road game in 5 weeks, I think the only way to play this is to lay the wood with the Packers. Next game, Jets in Kansas City. I couldn't tell you anything about this game, nor do I care about it. I mean, Tyler Palko, I've been down on the Jets all season. I've said all year they've been a fraud, but I think the only way you have to play this game is to go ahead and lay the points with New York.
Well, last week I went under with KC because I was impressed by the way their defense played against Pittsburgh the week before. I think I'm going to use call me crazy, but the same strategy here. I'm not impressed with the Jets' offense. I'm not impressed with KC's offense. Obviously, the Jets will play D. If KCD shows up again like they have the last 2 weeks, they'll play also. I go under the total here. That's the way to go.
I'd say lay it with the wood once more with the Jets, who are 11-4 against the spread against losing teams during Rex Ryan's tenure. So at least they're beating somebody here. The next game before we go into our break, the Saints in Tennessee. Listen, New Orleans, I've had them each of the past 2 weeks, easy winners. You had them with your Baltimore Crew this past Sunday night. But as I've told you all year long, guys, the Saints at home, great play. 5-0 straight up and 4-1 against the spread on the road. This is a team that lost to St. Louis last month. This is a team that has not played well on the road. Lucky to win its last road game because of a coaching mistake by the Atlanta's Mike Smith that let them get an overtime win, 26-23. But as I said, they lost, to St. Louis. And that was just a horrific and just an embarrassing performance. I am not comfortable with this 3.5-point number here.
I'm not letting you talk me off the Saints. Almost. Good try. But look, the difference I think between this month and last month is with veteran teams that have veteran quarterbacks, they know how important it is at this time of the year to play well going into the playoffs. I think that's what you have with Drew Brees and the Saints. I think they get up for this game where normally they wouldn't. I think that's the difference. I'm laying the 3.5 here.
I think that you can certainly go ahead and come up with a convincing argument to lay the points. This is a game I'm not playing at all. But still, you've got a team that's 2-4 against the spread on the road this season. A team that can't play any defense. I mean, that's what people just, they look at that. Oh, they had 500 yards of total offense, and Drew Brees had a magnificent game, and he did each of the past 2 weeks. But the Saints guys cannot play defense. Chris Johnson is running the ball effectively the last couple of weeks. And Matt Hasselbeck is going to be playing against the Saints secondary that has coverage problems and a Saints pass rush that's pretty much non-existent.
Sounds like you're talking about Green Bay.
Yeah, I mean, so, again, I think New Orleans is probably the play, but, even if you paid me, I wouldn't put my money down on this. Guys, this is the Countdown to Kickoff program. We're going to be returning here in just a couple of minutes. Joining us at that time will be handicapper Trace Adams, live from Atlanta. As I said earlier, 5-1 with his free picks the past 2 weeks, and he has 3 more free selections here today as we continue the Countdown to Kickoff and break down all of your NFL action from point spread perspective. Al DeMarco along with Steve Booten will be back with you in just a couple of minutes.